Someone asks you to count backward from 10, 10, 9, 8, and then you're being told it's over. The surgery is done. Hours have passed. Your body was cut open, worked on, stitched back up, and you experienced absolutely none of it. Not darkness, not a dream, not even the feeling of time passing. Just a clean, seamless nothing. And then a nurse's voice. So where exactly did you go? Here's the thing. Most people assume anesthesia is just a very deep sleep. It's not. Not even close. During normal sleep, your brain stays incredibly busy, cycling through stages, processing memories, running dreams, occasionally responding to sounds. Under general anesthesia, that entire cycle gets switched off. A brain scan under anesthesia looks nothing like a sleeping brain. It looks like something far more fundamental has been interrupted. So, what actually happens? When anesthetic drugs enter your system, they don't just turn your brain off like a light switch. What they actually do is break communication. Your brain has dozens of regions that constantly talk to each other, sharing information, coordinating signals, weaving everything together into one unified experience called consciousness. Anesthesia cuts those communication lines. Individual regions might still technically be active, but they can no longer talk to each other. And when they can't talk to each other, there is no unified you to experience anything. It's not like turning off the lights in a house, it's like cutting every single wire connecting the rooms, so even if there's still power somewhere, nothing can function together anymore. This connects to one of the biggest theories about what consciousness actually is. Researchers call it integrated information theory. The idea that consciousness isn't a thing that lives in one part of your brain. It's something that emerges when your brain successfully integrates massive amounts of information across different regions simultaneously. Anesthesia doesn't destroy your brain, it specifically destroys that integration. And when integration stops, so do you. At least in any meaningful sense. Now, here's the part nobody tells you. There's a documented phenomenon called anesthesia awareness, where a patient retains some level of processing during surgery despite being correctly anesthetized. It happens in roughly 1 to 2 cases per 1,000 surgeries. In most cases, it's just fragments, a distant sound, a vague pressure. In rare, deeply disturbing cases, patients have reported actually feeling pain during the procedure while being completely unable to move or signal anyone in the room, unable to speak, unable to even open their eyes, just aware and trapped. This happens because unconsciousness and the inability to move are not the same thing biologically. Modern anesthesia is actually 3 separate things happening at once. 1 drug for unconsciousness, 1 for pain, 1 paralytic to keep the body still. If any one of those gets even slightly miscalibrated, you can end up conscious while appearing perfectly anesthetized to everyone in the room. It's the reason anesthesiologists use real-time brain monitors during surgery, because going under is not one switch, it's several, and every single one has to work. Here's what happens the moment the drugs hit. Right before full unconsciousness, your brain doesn't just go quiet. It briefly goes chaotic. A rapid burst of unusual electrical activity, almost like a storm right at the edge of going under. Some researchers believe this is connected to the vivid, strange experiences some people report in those last few seconds of consciousness before everything stops. The brain's integration process rapidly collapsing and producing strange imagery as it falls apart. And then nothing. Zero subjective time, not a fast blur, not a dreamless sleep where you still sense that hours passed. Actual, complete absence of duration. A 4-hour surgery and a 20-minute procedure feel completely identical from the inside because there is no inside during that window. The brain structures responsible for tracking and recording the passage of time are specifically and deliberately shut down. That last part is intentional. Most anesthetic drugs don't just suppress consciousness, they block memory formation. Even in cases where partial awareness occurs, the amnesic properties of these drugs ensure most patients remember nothing afterward. A small mercy, and a deeply strange thing to think about. So here's the real question underneath all of this. If anesthesia genuinely disrupts your brain's ability to weave information into a unified, conscious experience, does that mean you briefly stop existing? Not your body. Your body keeps running. Your heart keeps beating. Your brain keeps doing basic biological maintenance, but you, the experiencing, thinking, feeling entity, does that briefly cease? This is where neuroscience and philosophy collide, and neither one has a clean answer, because it depends entirely on what you think consciousness actually is. If it's the integration, if you are the pattern, not the hardware, then anesthesia isn't just turning down your awareness, it's temporarily ending the specific process that makes you, you, and then reconstructing it when the drugs wear off, which might be the strangest part of all of this, because you never feel the gap. There's no moment of coming back, no sense of having been gone. The sentence just gets interrupted, and then picked right back up again, with no felt sense of the space in between. From the inside, it feels like nothing, which might be exactly what it was.